How's it going, Garholics? My name's Henry Martin, catching dinosaurs, and today I'm out here doing something different. I've never been on this river before. I fished 12 rivers in Texas for alligator gar, and I've never fished this one, so I'm gonna get out here. I'm gonna try to get some bait. Currently I don't have any, and I'm gonna see if I can find some alligator gar in a river that I've never fished. I've seen a few breadcrumbs in the past that would lead me to believe there are some pretty good fish here in this area, so I'm gonna fish hard. I have all day to fish. I have food, I have water, I have everything I need. So sit back, I'm gonna take you all on an adventure today. First things first, we gotta go get some bait. All right guys, I was riding up the river and I found this really neat sand beach right here. And as I was coming, I saw some mullet. As I was riding up the river though too, I think I saw a couple alligator slides, so I'm gonna try not to get eaten while I'm down here. But yeah, I'm gonna walk this bank with my cast net. I'm gonna see if I can get myself some mullet real quick. Ooh, look at all those little tiny shad. Little stuff again. Oh yes. Oh nice. Nice, dude. Woo! Look at that. Heck yeah, guys. That's what we're after. All right, so I got my bucket. I'm gonna go get my mullet in it. Couple things. First, I met the local wildlife, which is the mosquitoes. They're literally huge. I'll show you one here in a minute. I was thinking to myself, this seemed like a good place to put out gar baits. And I just saw about a 5 or 6 footer just hit a bait right over there. So probably gonna put out baits here in a second. Yep, these are perfect, guys. Those are perfect baits. You can cut them in half, use them whole. I need as many of those as I can get. Part of the reason why I need so many of them, is because of crabs, and they'll really go through my bait really quickly. So I'm gonna make a couple more throws. All right, a little update. I threw and I caught a tree on the bottom, and whenever I pulled on my net, it actually pulled the drawstrings and messed it up. So my net's not really working. I got about 12 mullet. I have an extra net, and this net will still catch a couple fish. So I wanted to mention something real quick. I'm not the kind of angler that sits there and fishes the same spot over and over and over again. Like I said before, I fished 12 rivers in Texas for alligator gar. This trip right now kind of made me nervous because I wanted to go somewhere where I knew I'd do well. Basically, there's about 5 or 6 bigger channels who have shouted me out in the last, month or so. So I have a bunch of new subscribers, and I really want to show y'all something really interesting, and do really well for y'all. But to some degree, it made me nervous to come out here and try something new. But really, that's the heart of what I do. I love going out and exploring new places and learning them and seeing how good I actually am as a fisherman to come out here and find fish on new locations, find bait, be able to navigate rivers, navigate bays, and be able to do it safely. If y'all came from any of these channels, Kayak Catfish, The Fish Whisperer, Thai Pig Patrol, J Prehistoric Pets, or First State Fishing, I appreciate y'all very much, and I hope that y'all give me an episode or two to hopefully impress you and keep y'all as a subscriber. All right, so I pulled right back into about the point where I cast netted those fish from, and I'm looking over on the bank above me, and there's an otter over there on the bank, and it's jumping in the water and frolicking around. I don't think you'd be able to see it on GoPro, but it's still really cool. It's about right there on the far bank. Just a little black thing, kind of looks like a weasel. It's doing a really funny little run, and then it stops, and then it runs again. All right, I'm gonna be rigging up real quick. I'm gonna show y'all what I'm using. I've got a Shimano bait runner 12,000D. This has got a 100-pound braid on it from Cast King. I fish all the way up to 150-pound braid sometimes. This rod is something new that I'm trying. This is actually a surf rod. It's 10 foot long. These are from Offshore Angler, and they're like 35 bucks. The main reason why I'm trying this, which I know it sounds a little strange, is because I need to be able to set the hook really, really hard to be able to get this little hook to penetrate an alligator gar's mouth. A lot of times I'm sitting on the run, and this tiny little hook can actually go through their armor, and that's what I'm trying to do with this big long rod. But since it bends too, it also might not just bend out my hook, which is what was happening when I was using a really stout like boat rod. Could get the hook in there, but on the fight it was really, really intense, and I was also bending out some hooks. So let's go ahead and get on a couple baits. Okay, in order to rig up, I can't just put that little tiny hook into my bait because there's not enough of it to be showing, basically. So what I did is I took methods from people that use circle hooks offshore, and they bridle their baits to give the hook some gap to actually work. So we're doing the same thing with alligator gar. So first thing I'm doing is I'm going to get some thread. I'm going to take about a foot of this rigging floss. This is a 40-pound rigging floss. I'm going to put a triple overhand knot in it, just like this. Push that down. I'm going to take a 6-inch mortician's needle. I'm going to push the rigging floss through the little gap in the back. Ooh, I heard a big old gar. Okay, so now I'm going to take my bait, which is my mullet. I'm going to hook them through the face. I'm going to put the mortician's needle through there, pull it through, keep the side that has the knot on this side. So at this point, you're just going to grab one side of the bridle, just like that, and you're going to grab the other side and pull it tight. I'm going to spin it about 3 times, go underneath closer to the fish, then spin it back once or twice, and then go back underneath again. When you do this, you want about a 1/2 inch to about 3/4 of an inch gap. If you go longer than that, you can get gill bleeding, and too close, that little hook won't really be effective. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put 3 baits out just like that. All right, we're gonna get a couple baits out. I'm gonna go one this way, just give it a little flick. And whenever we put this down, we're just gonna put the bait runner mode on. That way if we get bit, it'll just stream out line without the gar feeling anything. Next bait, we're gonna send this one straight out. Right about there. Same deal, bait runner on, just set it on down. My last bait is actually a live mullet, and we're gonna put it on the back side of the turn over here somewhere. All right guys, so we were fishing. It took me about an hour to get baits on and get in the water from the ramp, but I've got all day to be here. I have a whole bunch of spots pinned on my map that I would like to go hit today, so I'm not gonna spend too much time in any one spot today. So we're gonna sit here for probably about 30 minutes to an hour and see how we do. Any runs I get, I'll go ahead and film them. Any fish we catch, I'll go ahead and film those, and we'll go ahead and tag them and release them. And action, guys. We're running. All right, since I've never fished here before and I'm not really sure how many runs I'm in for today, I'm gonna let this one chew on it, eat a little bit. Part of the reason why we're using such a small hook is that way if they do swallow it, it doesn't actually hurt them. So I'm gonna let this fish run around for a little bit. I believe that's the mullet head that I put out. And yeah, we'll just kind of see what happens. And after a few minutes, I'm gonna set the hook and see if we get a big old fish. All right, guys, so I waited for a little while. I stepped out of my boat. My fish is still there, and I'm gonna go ahead and set. This is actually the first fish I've set on with this rod, so this is either gonna be pretty epic or it's gonna fail dramatically. So let's see what happens here. All right, well, I don't think I did anything wrong on my part. You can see here, she didn't eat any of it, so maybe a small fish, but she had in her mouth, she ran all over, scaled the thing. I don't see any bite marks or teeth that are all that big, but still cool. All right, guys, so I pulled up anchor and I'm about to take off to the next spot. Pretty neat, honestly. I enjoyed that one good run. Didn't seem like much to snag on. Maybe we'll be back later on in the day, but we're gonna keep on looking. So we got a big gator coming off that bank right there. Probably about 8 foot or so. Not the biggest, but for sure confirmed gators here. Good to know. There's a stinking gator right there, guys. I really hope y'all can see that. I am super close. Wow. Why is it not leaving? There it goes. Whoosh. Gator City. Wow, guys, look at the size of that gator gar. It's dead, but holy crap. That's a good one right there. That's sad. I don't know what happened to it. I can't tell. I don't really want to touch it either, but that is a huge dead gator gar. It could have been hit by a boat. It could be tangled up in somebody's line and then drowned because it was stuck underwater, or it could have been bowfish too, but wow. All right, guys, I'm back in one of the locations that I'm pretty sure this has to draw quite a few gar. This is really close to where we saw that dead one, so I'm gonna get out a couple baits real quick. I'm gonna get this one kind of in this creek mouth. I don't want to actually show you all this spot because there's something to be said for not giving away all the information, if that makes sense, but yeah, so I'm gonna keep y'all at this angle for now. If we get a run, maybe I'll get to see where we're at. But until that happens, this is what y'all get to see. Get a couple baits out. Not really sure how deep it is out there, but hey. Biggest bait, big old mullet. Ooh, looks like something had him. I'm glad I checked this because he's floating. So I'm gonna stab him a couple times with this needle until I can get the air out. I'm gonna squeeze him, get that air out, and I should sink just fine. Took it a little while, but there we go. All right, getting the big one out.
What the frick just happened?
Oh, wow. All right, I guess that's what I get for buying a $35 rod. My eyelet died. I lost this part of it. I don't really know how that happened either. And it cut my line, so down to 2 rods. All right, guys, we are bit. This is my second run. I believe this is a mullet head. It's not doing too much or too quickly, but I'm gonna give it a little bit of time. I can't let it run up. There's a thing keeping me from going up the river, so I'm just gonna let it kind of move around, mosey around. That mullet head shouldn't be very hard for even a very small gar to put down quickly, so I'm not gonna wait very long at all. Guys, I waited long enough on this fish. I don't have any idea if this is big or not, but here we go. Got her. It doesn't feel small. That could be a good fish. Okay, not huge, but first one of the day. Nice. Strong. Really strong. Yeah, it's a good fish. Woo! You are pretty. Thank you, that's awesome. Nice. Wow, look at her. All right, guys, I'm not sure exactly what I was recording and not recording. My GoPro was off, but I got my first gar. She's right at about 5 foot. I'm gonna measure her and I'm gonna tag her here in a second, but I figured I'd go ahead and show her to y'all. In case you're not aware of alligator gar and kind of things about them, they can breathe air and they can breathe in water. So I've got her gills in the water and she can breathe above water whenever she wants to. She took my hook down deep, but that's also why I'm using that tiny, tiny little hook. Okay, so our gar came in right at 60 inches, that's 5 foot. We're gonna go ahead and place a tag on her real quick. Okay, so with the tag, I'm just gonna go in behind these scales that aren't in there all that good. And I'm just gonna push it on in. There we go, we're in. Drag on back out. There we go, we got a tagged fish right there. All right, guys, that was really cool. This is a 5 foot gar. She's about small enough to where I think I can pick her up without harming her any way. She's probably about 60 pounds, I'm gonna guess. It's a really nice fish, maybe about 55, somewhere in there. But good fish, fought me really hard. Really, really pretty. You can see right here, she's got teeth hanging off the front. I don't know if y'all can see this, but she's got 1 nostril, 2, 3, and 4. So she got 4 nostrils. I'm just gonna kind of move her on out and let her on go. See you, big girl. Woo, nice. Hey guys, this is probably a terrible idea, but I'm gonna try to grab this thing by the tail. I think I'm gonna be okay here. All right, let's see here. I want your tail, buddy. How do I get your tail? There it is. There it is. Ooh, he's got some chompies to him. All right.